Good morning. How are y'all doing on this soulful, seductive Saturday, Sunday? What is it? What's the day of the week? I'll say Sunday. It is Sunday, right? I'm losing track of the days. I don't know about y'all. It's crazy. Like, I swear it feels like this month is already over. Where did it go? Where did the time go? So just in reflection, you know, there's a lot of stuff coming up for a lot of people right now. I know for myself, I've been having to sit with a lot of old traumas and triggers and pains. They're just bubbling up to the surface, right? And so it's very humbling because there's parts of you that just come up and you just go, whoa, what do I do with this? And I sit in my meditation and I see the old way that I used to be, that I, for fear of rejection, would run, for fear of failure, might not try, or when it felt like the going was getting really, really rough, you know, really, really tough, that it was time to go out. See, this is an Italian symbol for get out of here. You just get going, right? And I could see a lot of my old patterns, just observing them coming in and seeing how, wow, you know, there was a point where my life would get to, you know, all the stuff going on would feel like it was just too much. And I just didn't want to deal with it. I just wanted to push it away. I didn't want to be faced with my own shit. Let's get real. And so, you know, I realized, you know, growing up, it was easy for me to just be strong, you know, give that appearance that it doesn't matter to me. I don't care, right? Because I can take care of myself. I don't need anyone else. But maybe that's not really the truth. And that wasn't authentic. All that was a coping mechanism. All that truly was the fear of being abandoned, the fear of being rejected, and that my stepping into the discomfort when the going gets tough allows me to grow more. It opens me up to the actual true nature of love of myself and others, that I do want to connect with others. I don't want to push people away. That what the things that I think I don't want to be bothered with or don't want to deal with are the things I need to face full on. No matter how ugly it may seem, no matter how uncomfortable it may be, I'm telling you, the more I step into that personal power and just sit with it, be with it, and, you know, be right here, right now in this, breathe into it, go into my inner child and ask, what is this situation trying to tell me about myself? What is it I need to know to grow? How can I make this better? How can I learn from my mistakes, from my success, from my failures, from just trying? You know, the element of trying and putting one foot forward is in itself huge for many of us. Sometimes it's just showing up. Not just talking about doing a live video either. We're talking about showing up authentically, ridiculously, authentically you, where you are from the inside out. Not from here, but coming down in here, right? The vulnerability of being and radiating out, rising up, shining on, allowing the magic to come to you, ignite, rise, shine, and let that inner light ignite, right? Because the more that I've worked through my stuff, the more I've recognized it wasn't as important, it wasn't as big a deal, but my mind was so fixated on it being such an ordeal that it rejected, because the mind wants to protect us. The mind wants to step in and say, we got this, don't worry, we're not going to let anything happen. We're going to take care of you, we're going to protect you. Sometimes the mind comes up with crazy scenarios that don't exist. Or it makes things bigger than they really are. And let me tell you, when they make things bigger than they really are, they make things bigger than they really are. And then you end up in this huge mess, right? So I look back at my past and how crazy I had acted as a result of my mind. When I would get upset and I would act out, it was embarrassing to look back on those times. And I knew I wasn't coming from the heart space. It was all up in the head. How dare you make me feel this way? I'll show you. Destructive behavior. I have a whole list of stories. And maybe around along the way, I will share those as they come up. But even still, I think of specific stories that I just go, wow. Y'all wouldn't recognize me first off. But I don't even recognize me back then. Like, that was some crazy woman. That was somebody who I embrace and I forgive, and I know she did the best she could with what she knew and had for tools to work with. Because we only know what we know, and what you don't know until you know it, right? But when you know better, you can do better. And the awareness is key. The more mindful you are of where you add up in here, and recognizing again that as you breathe in and you bring the awareness back to the breath, right? Breath of life, people. When you're mindful of your breath, you become more mindful of your thoughts and your craziness going up in here. See, when you master the breath, and it's constant work because it requires you being present in the moment. It requires you to be mindful of what's going on. And when you master the breath, you can master your mind. Because when you're breathing in, it calms your mind. Even those of us with busy minds, and I got a really busy mind, let me tell you, mine's gone constant. When you breathe into your physical body, and you use the breath as a meditation, you actually follow it, listen to it, feel it. The mind starts to calm, and then you start to become more aware and awakened to your own physical body and your own being within, right? Because now what you're doing is you're breathing life back in. The prana, the life force, right? You know, the breath of life. It breathes into you. You don't even have to think about it. It just happens naturally, right? But that's the irony, right? The busier the mind, the more we slow down the breath, the more we cut off the life force, the more we're actually resisting the life, right? So we need to work on engaging fully in the richness of life. And the first place to start is through the breath. Everything else after that, when you start mastering it, comes much more naturally, much more vibrantly, more fully, right? Because it's tapping into your body's awareness, it's tapping into your senses. And the breath is the key to all of that. And so I'll tell you one little story, because I've come so far. When I was back in Italy and I was in a destructive relationship, so destructive, I mean, the person I was seeing at the time was not only an alcoholic, but also used many a drug that I have never tried and still have really no desire to. But if I had had access to it when I was younger, I guarantee I would have tried them. But because I had a particular job to protect my security clearance and my reputation, I did not. That is one thing about my mind. It has a very strong will, and there are some things I just never would compromise, and that would be a lot of times the persona that I was projecting, my professionalism, very, very particular, very attentive to whether or not it was a good one or not, right? And so this particular person would say they weren't addicted and didn't need to do certain drugs, but sure enough, those are the ones that bothered me the most. Cocaine was probably my biggest concern. because when he was on that, it was like I didn't know what to expect. And I remember being so upset. He said he didn't want to do it, and then he acted like his friends wanted to do it, and everybody came to him because he knew where to get it. And I was there with my dog Angel. And I just wanted to go home and relax. But most of the times, he wanted to be in the bars, the baretti, right? The bars in Naples, Italy, we called the baretti, the bar scene. It was just a small area of streets, and it was all within walking distance. You didn't have to drive. Although, let me tell you, he was always driving. And I remember just being so upset. And in that particular relationship, I acted like he was doing it to me. But I was accepting it, and I was enabling it. And so I had my dog with us, and I was a spitfire. I mean, I was a loose cannon myself as far as, don't mess with me, right? And I was messing with them. And even sometimes when I joked, because of the drinking and the drugs, I didn't know what to expect. Like, I could joke and he would take it as an aggressive attack or something that he would react to aggressively and attack back. And then this one particular case, it was so late. I mean, we're talking the garbage trucks were coming through in the morning. And I had my dog's leather leash. And most of the times I walked around with my dog without a leash. And I put it in half, and I created a little snapping action. And I was pissed off enough at him that I went up to him when he had a cigarette in his mouth. And I hated smoking, by the way. I was not a smoker. And I snapped it out of it. I actually snapped the cigarette out of his face. And he was so pissed off at me for that he took my dog's leash and threw it in the back of the garbage truck. So then I had to find a way to get my dog back home without a leash. But I mean, I did some really outlandish things that I'm so embarrassed, and I would be embarrassed for anyone to see me now doing something like that. But back then, when I look back, I was so emotional, caught up in my mind. I was being completely irrational. And you can't take back irrationality. When you are acting out from an emotional mindset, because it's not the body just physically responds to this. When you react from those places, you can't take any of that back. You have to be very mindful. You have to be open and allowing yourself to be vulnerable and just step back and breathe and go, whoa, how can I handle this better? And where am I coming from? Am I going to come from here or here? Because the pain is really the experiences, the traumas up here that we hold on to in physical areas of our body. And so being mindful of when you feel emotions bubble up in here and how they translate into your physical body is really key to recognizing where you're stuck or what those particular memories are being triggered or coming up into your body. Because we relive things all throughout our lives. It's whether or not we've confronted and healed something from the past, and when it comes back up in our present day life, we recognize where the point of origin is, where the root cause is, what really is below the surface of why it bothers us, why it upsets us, why we become so emotional, and it physically radiates in our body. Like, I mean, for me, certain things will make me really warm, and my body, or things will make me tremble, like total fear, and my whole body shaking like crazy. Being mindful and aware of these things makes it easier to breathe in and sit with them. Didn't say it's going to be comfortable. I'm just saying the awareness and the mindfulness, that being in the moment, that when something comes up, you can go in and ask your inner child, what is it that I need to know in this moment? What is this trying to teach me about myself? Because there's always a blessing in the lessons, and that every experience is simply guiding you in your life to being the best version of yourself, to connecting to your highest sacred self, the source of all that is, and really becoming whole and integrating all of those aspects of you. Not good and not bad, they just are. It's thinking that changes that. And so I went to bed. I had a bit of a migraine going on because my mind had been going so much, and I've had a lot of stuff come up, and I'm very grateful when I wake up in the morning and I can go, wow, how powerful is it that I can sit with that and still be grateful for it and feel blessed that I'm growing, that I'm being taught, I'm being served from beautiful people in my life who may not realize how much they are serving me and how wonderful that is. You know, I count my blessings every day because I realize how much I asked for this, how much I deserve this. And in order to be the best person I can possibly be and serve in any capacity that I can, I have to allow that discomfort. I have to allow that poking and prodding, right? So Kundalini Yoga, which I'm teaching at 4 o'clock today, Yogi Bhajan taught us that God, G-O-D, is the generator, organizer, destroyer, or generator, organizer, deliverer. And it depends on what works for you in your verbiage, because there are certain words that will trigger certain people, and they dislike certain words being utilized because that brings something up. There's a past on the word that, you know, and because it's mindfulness too. So if you're trying to be very mindful of the words you speak, which is key, because they carry vibration, and don't see the word destroyer as a bad word. If anything, destroyer means that you get to recreate, right? Because you can generate, you can organize, then you destroy, and then you go back to generate, organize, destroy. Energy is constantly in motion. It's just being transmuted, transformed, and moved in this divine dance, always, right? If it's better for you, use the word deliverer, because the message is in the delivery, right? And the blessing. And so we all serve as God to one another. It's just we may have been conditioned through religion and society that there's only one God, which is, no, there's oneness. There's all of us oneness. And that when you recognize the other person is you, it's humbling. It means the compassion, whatever it is you witness in another, is within you. You wouldn't see it. And don't label it, because it all applies. Right? So it's all about becoming clear within, clear with your intentions, clear with your communication. I am not perfect. I just am perfectly where I'm at this moment in time. Perfect is just a construct that makes it easier to think that, we have control over it. But to accept one another, especially ourselves first, as doing the best we can right here in this moment right now is the key in accepting others. Because when we accept ourselves first, when we work on ourselves, the patience that starts within, the compassion that starts within, that bright light, and even the dark, when you take that all and make it whole, you can embrace anyone and everything around you. There is no I can't, I won't, and I don't, and all that negating words. It just is right here, right now. And every single person is perfect where they're at. We don't need to fix them. We just need to embrace and accept them. Allow. Listen. I'm not always the best listener. I'm not always the best speaker. But I'm still working on it. And I'm still trying. Doing the best with what we have, right? Kindness matters. And even if something upsets you, if you can just take a moment to breathe in and try to allow your message to come through in kindness, even if it feels like you're being attacked, if you can take it back to self and just remind yourself that the words you speak are also kindness for yourself too, right? Delivery, right? The messengers. We're all messengers, we're all servants, and we're all teachers. Teach me, guide me. I know you're teaching me too. I read some amazing, beautiful posts in the group that just make me smile because they resonate with me too. And you're all teaching me, and you inspire me, which is why I'm here. When you get pieces of me, you get the best in me. I show up for you and myself because you inspire me. You inspire me to be a better person so that I can hopefully inspire you as well, right? Inspiring you through my own inspired living. I can't do it any other way. I'm showing up as I am, right? A little achy. I'm like a Rice Krispie treat over here. Like, you really? Snap, crackle, pop. Rice Krispies. Oh, that's my hip. That's my hip. That's my hip. Just saying. And so I hope that you're all having a soulful Sunday. But also, you know what? Get a little your sassy on. Get a little your sexy on. Get your dance on. Whatever you need to move that body, right? Because it's not all meant to be serious. Come on. It's just this thing here sometimes can just totally suppress all the good stuff. And sometimes it's crazy how the mind can get fixated and say, I'm not going to be happy. I don't want to be happy because I want to be right. And I can't have fun because, well, now I'm shunning my own fun, my own happiness and joy. Right? Isn't that the craziness? This mind will actually push away the good stuff just to be right, just to feel validated and justified. I'm not going to be happy anymore just because I want people to see that I'm strong, right? That I have willpower, that, you know, I have control. I can contain my happiness and fun and excitement. Are you kidding me? Really? That inner child's going, oh, please. Your heart is even going, your heart's bleeding a little going over here. Oh, really? We got to go through this shit again? I go through this all the time in the past. I went through this all the time in the past. Let me rephrase that. There are times I know to go within, but I also know to remind myself, don't take it so serious. And if I could give you one thing today, don't take it so serious. Why? Because that's the point of the group, to let your inner child out and play. So that you can come here, feel safe. We're all going to accept and embrace you and love you as you are. You be you, baby. Only you can do that. And that's the gift that you bring to everyone else, is you being you. And so when my mind wants to, looks back and sees how I used to suppress a lot of the fun that I could have been having at times, now I'm like, oh, I don't have time for that. I want to get down on it, get down on it. I want to dance. I'll sing even if I don't sound that good and I'm off cue. I'll chant, right? I just want my soul to flow and guide me in whatever way I can uplift one of the people I encounter, or one of you. This is what brings my heart and soul joy, and I feel I soar the most, is when I show up for others because I'm showing up for myself first. Can y'all feel me now? So blend up. We're gonna blend it up, baby. What? So I need my ginger. I'm gonna do bananas. I have a rad limone from my tree. It's a Meyer lemon. I'm gonna get a little lemony on this with the nanner. Oh, I got a plain one in here too, don't I? I'll do that later. And so, taking out the knife. Hope your weathers are beautiful wherever you may be around the globe. It's a gorgeous Sunday here. I threw a sweater on because I had a little chill. When I'm on my moon cycle, my temperature drops and sometimes I'm extra cold. So, and especially when I have that migraine last night, I really, I recognize when I need to exercise a little bit more self-care. And I tell you what, I don't even think I still had enough water, and I've got to run out to the watermill and fill up my jug because that ran out this morning. What are you all having to eat today? Yogi Bhajan actually teaches some amazing, he brought such beautiful teachings to the United States and around the world that I really, I swear I couldn't learn it anywhere else unless I was doing my own individual research. But like exactly where women are lunar, we're tuned in with flow, we're tuned in with emotion. We pick up on so much more. Intuitive, right? Into me I see. We don't just see into ourselves, but we feel everything around us. We feel the cycles. We feel, right? I'm not saying that men don't either. I'm just saying that that is just part of our nature of being. If you're on your moon cycle and you get cramps or anything, I haven't had an issue with cramps for a long time. But, oof, so spicy. I like spice. Fresh ginger. Fresh ginger will actually help with the cramps, but you got to start ahead, especially if you're prone to them. William Carey, you ate that beautiful pie? I bet that was yummy. So I'm cutting this up. I'm going to cut up the lemon. I'm excited because I've been using these and I get to I'm using the rind. I'm throwing the whole thing in there. I'm just going to make sure there's no seeds because this is going to be like a creamy. When you use the rind of the actual lemon, you get a creamy flavor to it. And so I'm going to have to cut it up in quarters is what I'm thinking. So I'm pretty jazzed about my lemon tree this year because this was the first year it fruited. I'm going to put this in here. It's so pretty. It's yellow and yummy and alkalizing. All right, so we got seeds that I'm removing. The Meyer lemon is just so good. It's good. Like sweet lemony, right? Not citrusy sour, but sweet. Whoops. You don't want seeds in your smoothie. It doesn't matter how good your blender may be. A seed, it just doesn't work. I've accidentally dropped some seeds, didn't realize they were in there, and I found the seeds in my mouth. So, that's 1/4. I'm going to be dropping seeds in here, it seems. It's a little seedy. It's all good. Good, 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 good. Now I got get down on it. Get down on it. Let's get funky, right? Yeah, so really what I've found for me when I'm more reflective and aware of things, I know I'm breaking a cycle in my own family legacy. And I made that choice a while back, like when I was in Italy dating that man, that, oh no, this stops with me. I'm not passing this on to future generations. I'm not allowing, I choose to be happy. I choose to be healthy and holy. Healthy am I, happy am I, holy am I. We all are. You know we got 9 holes. Just saying. That makes us holy. Yogi Bhajan jokes. Some of his words are so funny. If you ever listen to some of his workshops or his discussions, you can't help it but laugh. Because he did play with words like I like to play with words. And it's humbling, right? So because we ran out of water, I ran out of water, I'm using a tea, an herbal tea that I made last night. And I'm putting in here what looks like 2 cups. 2 cups with the lemon in it, which means it's less than 2 cups. It's probably about a cup and 3/4, cup and a half. Right? I know, right? I love lemon. I really do. One of the problems I had when I first transitioned to eating, plant-based, whole foods, raw vegan, and all that stuff, in my first couple years, I was totally unaware of this. And please share if any of y'all have experienced this. I had staining on my teeth from years of the coffee drinking and stuff in Italy and things like that. And I had what they call fluorosis, which has to do with the fluoride treatments and the fluoride they put in our water, right? But as a result of me doing the lemon water in the very beginning, it actually caused a little receding in my gums. It wore down some of the enamel on my teeth. It's something I didn't know about, that if you do a lot of lemon and citrus, you need to rinse your mouth out. You don't want to brush your teeth because your teeth are more pliable. They're softer as a result of the citrus. But it does alkalize in the stomach. I've got a hair in my mouth from the sweater. And you just need to rinse out. Rinsing is sufficient. So I didn't know this all in the beginning. I mean, again, that was a few years that I was doing that, and then I came to the realization, I'm like, oh my gosh, my teeth. What is going on with my teeth? I was really embarrassed. I mean, when I smile too much and it shows the gum and the lines, it's really stained. It's really bad. And I still need to get to the dentist and have it looked at and see what I can do to fix it. I have a activated charcoal blend. You saw that Ella, she was doing her video earlier today. I have a paste that I made. To tell you exactly all the ingredients means I have to sit with it because I intuitively throw things in, and I just know there's a lot of really good stuff in there. Things like, what is it called? It's the activated charcoal, some peppermint, coconut oil, of course. I used a little bit of my cannabis oil as well, actually. I think. Maybe I didn't. Maybe it's just coconut oil. It's just topical, though. You're not eating it. And then pearl powder is supposed to be really good. And a bunch of other stuff. All right, so right quick. It's about getting messy in here. I actually took the bananas out early so that I could get them to soften a little, because in this bag, they were just all attached to one another. Frozen, solid as a rock. Ah. My household growing up was all music. All music. My mom had one genre, my dad had another. I think they had 8 or 9 years difference between the two of them. Dad was born in 46, mom's born in 54. So, today is my mom's birthday, by the way. Happy birthday to my mommy. She was, she's out in Omaha, Nebraska again, so I don't know. I haven't spoken to her today yet. Hopefully she's having a good day. I used to speak to my mom on a daily basis. I tell you that over the years, a lot of, I know most of my patterns came from my parents. I remember I would call her up to complain, let's say. But mostly to what I learned over the years, that my complaining with her wasn't always looking for solution, although maybe part of me thought I was going to get a solution, as much as listening to myself speak was actually cathartic and healing for me, and I would always find my own solutions in just speaking. And so I know now with communication, one of the things I've learned, and I'm still trying to grasp it, and my ego wants to always, sometimes wants to go in there and respond as opposed to just listen. Do you listen with the intent to understand, to hear the person that you're speaking with, that's speaking while you're listening? Or are you listening with the intent to answer back? This is a big deal, and it makes a huge difference in the receptivity on both ends. Because if the other person doesn't feel like you're listening, there's a shutdown. You lose the communication. Sometimes you only get one shot. Sometimes if the other person's receptive enough, they'll come back and maybe you can have a better dialogue next time. But it's all the key in conscious communication and both parties. And, you know, one person may understand better than the other and vice versa. You know, you just don't know, but you can't assume. You can't assume, and you know, you have to always ask for clarity that what you're hearing is what is being spoken, or what the intention behind what is being spoken. Because I found that sometimes what you think you hear is not what's being said. And so in order to grow, we all have to be humble enough to not just react, but maybe just ask, is this what you intended when you said this? Did you mean this? Because here's what I heard. Did I hear correctly? One way to do this is through mirrored conversation, that when one person speaks, you ask the person, well, is this, okay, I'm going to, you know, you repeat back to them what it is you heard, and then ask that if that is what was indeed said. Because it's good for both parties. Number one, because it can help the person who said something clarify, but also maybe sharpen up their verbiage so that maybe the next time they're a lot clearer with what they're trying to relay, what they're trying to communicate. And also the person who's receiving it can learn what it is that their fixation may be, that they don't hear what is being said. Or it strengthens communication significantly. So it's a huge key. But you have to be, again, aware enough and make those conscious efforts to engage, to ask questions. And so I'm going to add another thing to this to kind of add a little kick, like a lemony vanilla. Yeah. It's going to be like a creamsicle, in my opinion. But a vanilla and lemon creamsicle. I think I put 3 drops so far. This should work. All right, you ready? Let's get ready to rumble. Blend it up. You've got to turn it on first. Key is always make sure it's turned on. Just saying. Ooh. Put it on a solid surface and not half off. All right. Technically, this is 3 ingredients, right? Ooh, that's different. That's really good. Totally different with the vanilla. I need more lemon. But I also want more frozen banana, because I think I put too much liquid. So I would say 1 cup. Always start out small first. But I really like the tea blend, so that's why I ended up doing that. I love the chunks. Like the chunks of the lemon in there, so good. So I have half a lemon in here. I'm gonna clean up and put the juice in that. It's so much fun just trying something new, isn't it? And so, you know, and then bringing back the fun to communication, right? So even if you're having a serious conversation, if it gets to be too heated, take a breath. Take a moment for both parties to just, let's take a breath together. Let's hug. Let's remind ourselves that we really just both want to be heard and understood. You know, to understand is to stand under someone, right? To see and be heard, be seen, and to hear and to be heard. Sometimes we'll say, well, I don't really care what people think about us, but we really still want to be seen, right? Seen for who we are truly, and not for something we're not. We just want acknowledgement. We want to feel supported. We want to feel secure. We want to feel safe. We want to feel appreciated and respected too, right? It's no different. We all want those things, right? But do you know what it is you need and what you want? That's a good start right there. Because if someone asks you, what is it that you need? Can you honestly answer that question? Ask yourself first before someone else does, so that when someone does ask you, you can actually give them the proper time and response that doesn't catch you off guard. So being mindful again, awareness into self is key, right? And that's how you can be mindful. This is lemony. I'm going to have to grab another banana just to thicken it up. There I go with my blades again. It might have actually, it was kind of soupy at the end when I poured the rest of the bananas in here, because I did let it sit. Where did this month go? We've already come through Thanksgiving. We're coming up on Christmas. What the heck? One more frozen. My frozen bananas are so frozen. It's not pretty. So let's see how much I can get out of this real quick without breaking anything. It is beautiful here in the Sunshine State. That's all I'm going to say. I can't tell you how happy I was to see the sun shining. I'm going to be able to step out and go, ooh, it's not that bad. Frozen bananas. So I hope you're all doing well. I mean, I know that there's a lot of pressure on all of us right now. Some of us are really just like, I don't know how the heck I'm making it through the day. I know some of my friends have reached out and I've reached out to them. And the biggest reminder is just recognize when maybe you're coming from an emotional response versus a heart response. The head versus the heart. Because breathing into that space, you know, it's okay. You can feel it. You need to feel it to heal it fully. Whenever something comes up, it's trying to remind you that we didn't go through this fully the last time it actually started. And that to truly heal something, you have to go through the full cycle of whatever it is or was. Suppressing it just puts it back in the archives for later when it pops up the next time. So no matter what is going on in your life, just always thank the people just for being there, even if they're pissing you off. Or you're doing the same for them. You want that same in return, right? When you truly love someone, you wouldn't get upset if you didn't love the person, right? And that's another key thing I learned is that, you know, anger shows you care. But it's also the gateway to changing things, to making a difference. Okay, blending it up. What? So thank everyone in your life. Love everyone in your life because they're all serving you perfectly as you need to be served. Nothing comes to you without it being necessary for your growth. Let's see. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh, that's good. Oh yeah. All you need. And I didn't count the blender, the bananas totally, but I can just say this: throw as many bananas as you can fill your pitcher. I did 2 cups of water. It was about a cup and a half, but I would start with a cup. Fill it up with frozen bananas. Grab yourself a really good organic Meyer lemon and another half. Throw it in there. Oh, and I use the entire Meyer lemon and a thumb of ginger, and that's all you need. It's immune boosting. It's made with love, because I pour love in everything that I do. I wouldn't do it if I didn't want to, right? And that's the key. When you set out today, be fully present, not just because you have to. Because if you think you have to, then it's not going to be genuine. It's not going to be authentic. You're going to suffer somehow. You're going to be disappointed about something. But do it, show up as you, because you want to. And come from the heart. Love everyone and everything from where you are in your heart. Remove the head. Now, go have you a soulful, seductive Sunday. I love you. Keep it raw, stay rad. What?